Clown in the Cornfield with Friendo the Clown. It can get a little sticky, and I'm not just talking about the syrup. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Horror Guru review. Today we are going to be doing the newest movie, Clown in a Cornfield. This movie is rated R. It is an hour and 36 minutes. Now, it's not out fully yet. Right now they're doing one showing a day until it hits theaters. I want to say May 9th. So I was able to get in for one ticket. And this is just my review of it, you know. So let me just start out with a couple of the big players, a couple of the more important actors in it, because it is very solely focused a lot on younger actors and actresses. So, you know, for that, we don't see as much, you know, big name recognition. I will say you do see two people in it. You see Will Sasso. He plays Dune, the sheriff. Dune or Dunn, however you say that. He plays the sheriff, and he's big on Mad TV, Happy Gilmore, and Shameless. The other one is Kevin Durand. He plays Arthur Hill in this. Now, he is kind of a big-time player in this, but he's been in Abigail, Legion, Resident Evil, and Lost. So you can tell that they are trying to blend in more legacy characters with more newer people. So anyways, so the movie takes place in this small town called Kettle Springs, Missouri, and it's about Quinn, who's played by Katie Douglas, and her dad, Dr. Maybrook, who's played by Aaron Abrams. Now, they're pretty much running from a traumatic event that happened, so they are trying to start new, have a new life. The doctor found this house, bought it, started up a new practice, and that's kind of how they got there. They moved from Philadelphia to this small town in Missouri, which could be just a giant life-changing event. So from there, Quinn ends up making these friends who are considered not outcasts, but considered the troublemakers, because they like to go and film stuff for online, which kind of plays a little bit of factor in the movie once I'll get into the pros and cons. So she becomes friends with these people, and then because they are considered more the troublemakers, all of a sudden some of those friends start getting killed off one by one until you get to the final showdown. So I will just say there is a couple things in this movie that I did not like. I will not spoil it, but for the most part, I did really enjoy it. So for the pros, I'm just going to say a little bit of the comedy factor. You know, they played more into the age gap of, you know, Gen Z, Millennial, Gen X, you know, to the point where, you know, you get these little chuckle moments. Like, you know, for instance, they don't know how to use a rotary phone. You know, they don't know how to drive a stick shift, or, you know, some people in it. So it's just like little things here and there that, you know, that play a factor into like bits and pieces of the movie. As far as, even you could go as far as to say the filming aspect of, you know, they don't like these kids for a certain reason, and they are consistently doing stuff to post online, and the townspeople who are older just don't understand that. So that's kind of like a cool little, you know, yin and yang type thing throughout the movie. I will say they did do a good job with character development into it. I thought that, you know, I've had a couple reviews lately that have not been as flattering with that, but they've done a decent job at kind of the character development between all of like the big characters within the movie. You know, enough to where you could look at it and be like, okay, good enough for a horror movie, good enough for something that's supposed to be like a slasher. And yeah, I'm very good with that. Now, I also do understand that this was a novel first. I didn't read the novels, so, but this gives them a lot more stuff to work with to build for character development. Anyways, so, and then I go into my next thing, the kills, gore, all of these things were, I thought that the kills were good. They weren't like horrible, they weren't like over the top, but they were still decent. As far as like the gore too, like, you know, if you're expecting something where it's like everything is like a gore scene, you're just not going to get that. But it's good enough to where I put it in my pros instead of my cons, because it felt like they at least tried to put the kills out there for what they were trying to do. You know, you're not going to get this like Art the Clown Terrifier type thing. You're not going to get like even like the Screamboat with Steamboat Willie. You're not going to get that, but you're going to get enough. So that was good. Also, I thought they did a really good job with the plot twist as well. I thought that this was something that, you know, you see the trailers and you see like all these kinds of things, and you kind of have an idea where the movie's going to go. And, you know, halfway through the movie, it kind of does a little bit of a shift. So something that the trailers don't really show, which is something that I really like, because I like to be surprised and I like the suspense factor of it. So they did some great job with the plot twist, between the story, also character development with people. There were some really good things like, oh, I didn't see that coming, or oh, that's unique. So I will put that in the pro column, because that was very, very well done. And then finally, pro, you know, anything that gives open for a sequel, I'm for. And this kind of gives you, because it's a horror and because they've done multiple novels, they have opened it to a sequel. You know, it could potentially be a sequel. Also, I will say there is no post-credit scene. No matter what the internet tells you, it does not happen. So, stayed all the way till the end, just for nothing to happen. Even though Google told me that there was a post-credit scene. So, anyway, open for a sequel. And for the cons, I really don't got that many. You know, there is a thing between, like I said, between the new actors and the older actors. You can tell like the big difference. You can really feel, you know, the almost like the age gap of like newer actors kind of getting into their own and on the screen. So that's one thing. Sometimes it's just overacting, but nothing major, like to the degree of like it would ruin the movie. Also, there was a couple unanswered questions in it, and that I don't like. I don't like unanswered questions in the movies. And these are ones that I feel like won't be answered if there is a sequel, because they're just not like big enough, you know, to the point where you would move forward with them. So anyways, that's it. I mean, honestly, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 star. I thought it was a good movie. If there's a sequel, I would see it. And that's kind of it, guys. Hopefully you guys can go check it out for yourself. If you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the likes. If you've seen it yet, hit the comments, let me know. And until next, guys, later.